A survivor of sexual assault is working to get law enforcement more training for interviewing victims.
I imagine that my police interview might have been frustrating. My brain was working on autopilot, which I now know is a really common trauma reaction.
Abby Honold was a 19-year-old freshman at the University of Minnesota when she was raped 3 years ago. Her attacker was eventually sent to prison, but Honold says that she suffered additional trauma when she was initially interviewed about what happened. Nina Moini is here right now to explain how Abby hopes that a different technique can gain traction among law enforcement here in Minnesota and across the country.
That's right, Amelia. The idea is to stress that trauma shapes memory. Traumatized people often undergo a process many professionals, even victims, don't completely understand. This can lead to victims feeling like they're not being believed. But survivors advocates say another way of interviewing, now available to officers in Minnesota, can help change that.
And she's sharing her story broadly.
It's still difficult for Abby Honold to talk about what happened to her. Her rapist is behind bars, but the healing continues, and her mission to help others.
I really had no idea what I was in for when I called 911.
Honold says the first officer who interviewed her made her feel uncomfortable.
When I would remember a piece of information during my interview, he would stop me from sharing it because he wanted me to go in chronological order. I felt myself mentally shutting down and not wanting to talk to him anymore.
She credits her forensic nurse in the hospital for helping her feel believed and recall more information.
I found out later that she used a technique called FETI. She asked about what I saw, heard, tasted, and felt, and helped me talk about things in a really candid way during my exam.
The forensic experiential trauma interview technique started in the U.S. Army. Now, the Minnesota Coalition Against Sexual Assault has received a grant to give the training to law enforcement agencies in Minnesota for free.
Abby is a hero to me.
U.S. Senator Al Franken is introducing a bill to get federal funding to expand the program to the entire country.
Because of my forensic nurse and her ability to effectively interview me and collect evidence, my rapist is now in prison for multiple assaults.
A different approach to sensitive cases, Honold hopes will improve the chances of other survivors seeing justice.
Law enforcement agencies should be able to get this training free of charge starting in November. Abby Honold has graduated from the U of M and is now dedicating her work to helping other survivors of sexual violence.
Oh, good for her.
She's
Brave
a special
woman.
lady.
Yeah, really. Thank you, Nina.